Greetings, everyone. Hopefully, you can hear me. I know last time I went live, we had some technical difficulties with the audio, but I think I got that straightened out. Today, I just thought I'd come on here and put together some more wax packs. This time, it's based on the Star Wars Holiday Special. So over the holidays, I was hoping to get that video out a little earlier before Christmas, but I think I put it up like the day after Christmas. But seeing that the Star Wars Holiday Special doesn't have anything to do with Christmas specifically, I think it's okay. But I thought it'd be fun just to take one of the most notoriously bad things that ever happened in the Star Wars universe and make trading cards out of it, because I don't think anyone else will. So I did that. I put up the video and everything, and I didn't even mention that I was going to put a few cards on my website. I think I might have mentioned it in the newsletter, but I put a few just limited edition. As you can see when we're making this, it takes a little time to do it. So anyway, I put those up there. And like I said, just when I do these things, it's just limited amount. I would like to figure out a way to kind of step up the process. If I can find a way to make it go quicker and a little less time consuming, maybe start doing some other cards and things, because people tend to like them. And I just put some up and they sold out. So I added a few more on my website, but I got to put those cards together. And if you did order some, they should be going out today. So anyway, I'm going to start by just kind of going through this and putting all these things together. I see Edie's in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me this time, because I had, like I mentioned last time, we had some technical difficulties. And I think I was able to go back on that video and cut out the beginning part. So if you're watching it after the fact, there's not going to be that whole section that didn't have any audio. But so if you did watch the last one, this is going to be kind of more of the same, but with just a different product. Last time I did some other really bad movies, and today I'm going to tackle the cards that I already made based on the Star Wars Holiday Special. So let's get to it. First of all, the first step in the process, what I've been doing is, and this is something that I'm going to look into too, about I really need to get a good printer. And if anyone is an artist out there and has some suggestions for good printers, I've had kind of bad luck with printers in the past as far as them not working. Having said that, I've used most brand. I've had like a Brother printer, that's more like an office type printer. But it had a 11 by 17 scanner, which is real nice, which I still kind of use even though the printer doesn't really work. But I've had Canon and HP and stuff like that. I've never tried an Epson, so I might be looking at some Epson printers. But right now, what I'm doing, I'm just going to the copy store and to their self-serve and making laser prints of these off of the copy store. But I've been doing them two pieces. I'll do the front and the back, and then I'll glue them together with spray adhesive. And as you can see by this border, it's when I take it there, it's very inconsistent as far as how they line up. Some of them, here's another one, same place, and the border kind of so it's really hard, especially when you're trying to line up these backs and stuff on the back, to get them to work, to get them to line up. And and it costs, for a sheet like this, it costs about 50 cents, a little more than 50 cents per page. So when they don't work and I glue them together, I'm losing money here. So I think I'm going to invest in a printer where I have a little more control over that. I just have to find the right one, and that'll be part of the thing that can hopefully make this, make me able to do more of these. So let's see. Okay, so like here's an example. These are some that I cut, and you can see how close to the edge are. I don't mind if they're off a little bit, because a lot of the cards were, but I don't want them to be off that much. And I've had them even off more than that. You can even see part of the other piece here popping up. So that's not what I want. And when I do like these stickers I did with a puzzle, which is a little easier. And these were professionally printed, so they're dead on, they're accurate. But with puzzles, it's not such a difficult task to get them all to line up. But when you're dealing with all these things, it can be. So I found a little hack that I've been trying. But like I said, first, and I've already glued all these together, but I also like to include stickers. And and so we're gonna do the other thing is these are kind of kiss cut, which I have a Cricut machine, and this is another thing I've struggled with is getting the Cricut machine to register and line up properly. And I just I don't get it. And I don't know what it is with the Cricut machine, but if you have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper like this, you you can only cut about this size. And it's because before I worked at a company where we did stamps and things like that, and I cut things. We used silhouette machines, and on that, if you had an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, you can use the whole surface. Now there is things like if you upgrade to a larger mat on the Cricut and you cut out like if you start on 11 by 17 inch, you can cut 8.5. But this it doesn't make sense. So I'm right now I'm really and part of it is just user error and me not understanding. But I've looked through so many tutorials. There's a lot of tutorials that show you how to do this stuff, but it's all based on like clip art and things that are already pretty much pre-made. So making your own stickers and getting them to line up so it cuts properly, I haven't been able to figure out how to do that. So what I'm going to do, and this is kind of a hard way to do it, but I'm going to actually go with my X-Acto knife and cut around this area so we can get kind of that cut look. But first, because this is just on sticker paper, I want to adhere it to kind of a cardstock, so it's a little thicker. So I have my spray adhesive, and as I mentioned before, um, I don't I don't like to I don't typically like to use this stuff indoors, but I've got a little actually big cardboard box over here that I'm going to spray over, and I'm only going to do this once. So I wouldn't advise doing a lot of this kind of spraying indoors, but um, right now I'm just off screen. I'm kind of spraying it. Spray adhesive. Okay. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute to get a little tacky, and then we'll put it on here. We'll line it up. And this part takes practice too. When you're lining this stuff up, um, the way you're setting it down, that can also affect how things line up. Like I said, this isn't as there's no image on this. So I think the original cards probably had puzzles or something on the stickers, but the way that I'm doing these wax packs, you can see we print these on tracing paper and then we apply the wax. But they're a little tiny. They're the exact same thickness of actual wax packs, but they're a little tiny bit more transparent. Not a whole lot, but if you have like a card here, you can kind of see through it, which isn't too bad. But I'm just going to keep these blank white so that all you see is the white when you because I'll flip the sticker over, and that way all you see is white on the packs. So, but typically, I think the actual Star Wars cards, I think they also had puzzles on the stickers in addition to the cards too. All right, so now I'm just gonna just very carefully just line up, and like I said, it doesn't have to be super accurate, but that's pretty close. All right, so we've got these, and then I'll just cut a few of these out. I have already have some already cut out here, but just to demonstrate, I'm going to cut a few of these out. I'm going to get my glasses here because I have to make sure it's accurate. All right, so and the trick to this when if you're doing this by hand, if you don't have a Cricut machine or if you're like me, you can't figure out how to get it to work, you just kind of get a nice sharp X-Acto knife and you just press down, but you don't press down too hard that you're cutting down through the paper. And this also takes a lot of practice. Back in the days when we used to airbrush, traditionally we would use Frisket like a masking material to mask out all our areas that we're airbrushing. And we learned how to do this with just a nice, nice touch where it'll cut through just the sticker part, but not the whole card. So I'm just going to follow this around, and you kind of turn the paper as you go. That kind of helps the paper more than the actual knife. I am moving the knife a little bit, but it's more the paper, and you can get a pretty close. Not quite as accurate as if you can get the machine to do it. And then once you get over to there, and I'll fill it up a little bit so you can see. Mm, mm, mm. As you can see, it's a nice little cut there, and flip it over. It's not, you don't even see any cut back here. So there you go. That's how we do that for the stickers. You don't have a Cricut machine or whatever. Now let's move on to our cards. Now this is kind of a, so I did line these up a little bit. Now I have a light table, and sometimes assuming that the image isn't so opaque that the light table doesn't shine through, sometimes it helps. Or you could, even if you don't have a light table, you can maybe, if you have a, you can either get like a glass table and put a light under it, or if you, I don't know how you would get it to stay, but if you put it up to like a window with the light shining through, you can see. But that's one way, because there's crop marks on all of these on my templates, and if you're on my newsletter, in the archives, or I send these out too whenever I put out a new project that requires these templates. There's a template for this, and it's got the crop marks in here already. So the trick is getting the crop marks on the back to line up. Now they should, if the printer works properly, they should line up perfect, but that's not always the case. So so I put these down. What I'm doing now, just to see if, because I've ruined so many of these, is I don't know if you can see. Let me switch my camera angle and see if I can get it. You see these little notches here? Let me pull it down. Yeah, these little notches I cut. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm going through where the crop marks are, and then I'm going to line it up with the crop mark. I'm going to press down and cut straight, and then I'm going to kind of cut at an angle to make like a little arrow. And where that arrow points, when I flip it over, as you can see, it's lining up. Let me see. It's lining up pretty good here. So actually, I'm going to go with the back side. It's a little easier to tell. So I'm gonna make my little cut here, and then just do an arrow. And it doesn't matter which side you put the angle on, just as long as the arrow points to where the top mark is. And I'm going to do that on here just to double check. So when I'm cutting these out, that I'm not, and this is what I'm saying, that it takes the other thing is, if I could have these professionally printed with this, I don't know if printers will let you do this, because it's, I don't obviously own Star Wars. So I don't know if I sent this to a printer, if they'd say, "Oh no, you can't print that." But then again, you go to a comic convention and people are selling fan art all over the place. So I don't know. Sometimes they'll just have a disclaimer saying, just they're not responsible if there's any copyright infringement. And the numbers I'm doing these, I don't think Star Wars or Lucasfilm or Disney would come after me. It's possible. I don't know. I don't do a lot of fan art, so I'm not really sure about what they care about and what they don't. But I've also seen people produce like full Star Wars action figures, like actually manufacture Star Wars action figures without a license, and make the packaging and everything. Figures that they never made. Kind of like this. I mean, I don't think anyone at Lucasfilm would ever make a Star Wars holiday special trading card set. So they're just fun little novelties. So anyway, so that's kind of what I'm doing. So I made all these crop marks. So now I can turn it over. I can look, and it seems like it's lining up. So I did a pretty good job. So having said that, let's start cutting these out. And great, great. So we got Zombie Noir in the chat. We got Edie Sedgwick, and then some a few people watching who aren't in the chat. Feel free to pop in if you want. So I am going to go ahead, and I'm just going to start lining these up. And for right here, let me see. So you can see right here where the crop mark here isn't quite lining up with the crop mark on the back. So that's my indication that I'm just going to go about halfway between those two. And that should give me a pretty good cut. And then I'm going to, this is a pretty sharp blade, and I've got a whole bunch of blades for when these dull out. But I'm going to make one cut, and then I'm going to go again and make another cut. And I can kind of feel when it's pressing into this cutting mat. And we had some questions last time about the cutting mats, and no, you don't need a huge cutting mat like this. They make smaller ones. Okay, line these up, and the reason why I'm using the X-Acto knife and the metal roller, and make sure if you are doing this, use a metal ruler, because if you're using like a plastic ruler or just like a wooden ruler that doesn't have a metal edge, it'll slice right through that plastic or that metal. So that's why I always use a metal ruler. I've got a few different metal rulers. This one's got a little weight to it, so the thicker the better. If they're really thin, sometimes they don't work. And then for right here, I'm going to flip this over, because to me it always helps if you have a little more. It helps it not to shift if most of the card is on the opposite side of the edge of the ruler. Whereas if I went here and I tried to cut this part off, or I don't know, it's hard to explain. But anyway, so I just flip this over a little bit. I'm going to make another cut here, and then hopefully once we make all our cuts, oh shoot, that was a bad cut. So it should, hopefully, we'll see what this looks like. That's the part about trying to get these things to be accurate. It's pretty tight there. I wonder if I have another single card that I can replace that with, because I think it's just the one card that didn't line up that well. And you gotta, it's, as I'm doing this and as I'm talking, it's probably, I probably should be concentrating a little more here. And also the other thing is, it might help to just do a really light cut the first time, not try to press all the way down, because that way, once you put that little light cut, you've already sort of got your groove in there, and the next cut should just kind of follow in that little groove. If you try to press too much, it could shift, because you're putting so much pressure on it. Okay, and again, instead of just going right here, I'm going to flip this around and make sure I don't cut through any of these cards that are already cut out. But the other thing I was going to mention, yeah, I mean, it would be really difficult to do these on a like a cutting like a paper cutter, because when you cut them out, one, it's hard to get it super accurate on a paper cutter, and two, when you cut them out, you're also going to be, it slices all the way through. See how I didn't cut all the way through, so I've got this little border. But if you do it on a paper cutter, you're going to be cutting all the way through. All right, let's see. So that's pretty good. That's not too bad. Except there was one card that I kind of butchered, but when was it? I think it was this one. Yeah, that one's a little close to the edge. It looks fine in the back, but if I have another card, otherwise that'll have to work. But let me take these, and I will put these aside, and let's you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and add one of my stickers, and we'll cut some. I got the bubble tape that I use for the bubble gum. We'll cut pieces of that off. Here's kind of about the size that you're going to see. So let me cut another one of these out and see if we can do a better job. And then I guess I should cut all these out, depending on how long a live stream this is, how long we've been going so far. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to cut another one. I've already made all the little notches and everything. So I'm going to line all that up here. And this time I'm going to take a little more time. I'm not going to rush it too much, because it's better to take time, because if you ruin these, like I said, especially if you're printing them like I am at the copy store, 15 cents a piece, 50 cents, over 50 cents, it can add up. And that's why, like, I don't know, well, I put these on my website, but I'm not, even when I sell these, I'm not I'm not making a whole lot of money because of the one, the time involved, and two, um, and even if I sell these for like, 12, 13, even $15, it's not like a huge profit there because there might be like I said, there might be a way to do it so it is. Like if I could print these so they're already so somebody else like cuts them for me and everything. I mean, there is some labor when adding all the wax. Like I'm working on a project for Gold Key Comics for their next Kickstarter where I'm doing like 100 of these 100 cards based on their new Kickstarter project that they're doing, and I got to wrap all those. They're actually doing all the cards, which is good. So I told them I don't know if I could put out that many cards because when I put these ones, I put them up in very small quantities. But they're going to print all the cards. I'm just going to do the wax pack. And 100 of those, once you take, you start applying that wax, you kind of put some pressure on it. And my hands are going to get tired. I might have to enlist the help of my kids or something to help me out. And again, just following both the crop marks on the page and the little notches we've made, making sure they line up, and if they don't, kind of split the difference, go in the middle, each one of them. Hopefully, this makes sense. And I don't know how many have any of you ever thought about doing these? I know I put the templates up. There are some people. I've had some people message me, and they're making cards, and they kind of show me some of the stuff they're doing, and it's that's what I hope for this to run and go into, where we've got you know you've got the people that just enjoy seeing people make stuff, and then you've got people that actually want to make stuff too, and then we can talk about you know I've I've messaged some people back and forth about different printing techniques or paper and things like that, and I'd like to grow this community to where it's like that, where you just got different projects. And like I would like to get I have been doing a lot of videos on these wax packs lately just because I really enjoy them. But I do want to get to doing some other kind of projects too coming up. So we'll see. But I don't know. The next video might be another wax pack one. We'll see. Maybe some more bad movies because I've already started a few of those. So okay, those ones came out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with. These ones look a little better. They didn't rush it so much. And I'll rearrange all of these cards too when we start packing these things out. We'll add another sticker here. I'm going to put that off to the side. Cut a few more of these, and then hopefully we get to the point where we can start. I'm going to do 4 of these together, and then we'll wrap them all up, and I'll show you how to do apply the wax and wrap all the wax pack. Hopefully, if I was smart, I'd probably switch the blade to a sharper one, but it's still pretty sharp, and I haven't like broke the tip off of it, and I'm taking my time. So, and let me also, you guys, let me know in the chat. So I found this kind of generic Star Wars music that you could hear playing in the background. It shouldn't be flagged by copyright. It's like a generic version, but it sounds kind of like Star Wars. But let me know if the volume. It's hard for me to tell on this end if the volume is too loud or if it's all right. I don't want it. I just want it sort of lightly in the background so there's something going on. But let me know if that music is too loud or not loud enough or whatever, and I can adjust it for future live streams. But so hopefully everyone's getting ready for the New Year's and everything. I got big plans, and I'm got it next week on the Artcasters, and we are. If you follow the Artcasters, I do with Joshua Kimball and Corey Kerr, you'll know that we are approaching our 400th episode. We've got one more episode before that, and then the one after that is our 400th. Wow, we've been doing it for a while. At least I have. I mean, and Josh and Corey have been on longer than I think anyone else now probably, but it didn't start off with Josh and Corey. It was me, Jeff Lafferty, and Kevin Cross, and we went for at least a year, a couple of years with that lineup, and then we brought Josh on, and then we brought Corey on, and we've been doing it ever since. So, but we'll have to figure out something cool to do for. Okay, now this cut is off quite a bit, so this is where I'm going to have to split it. Let's see if we can figure this out so I don't ruin it. Okay, so there's a pretty big gap between here and here, so I'm just going to kind of go in the middle of each, and hopefully that'll be good enough. I'm going to check. I'm going to flip this over and check where my cuts are after I make this first one. Yeah, so it's not too bad here. It's going to be over a little bit on here. But that's a good reason to make the notches. Yeah, I wish I could just avoid all that though. Because in this one, I could just get these to line up, and it might. I mean, I like putting these little fun packs on the back, you know, but it'd be so much easier to do a puzzle if you're not having to worry about every individual square lining up. It seems weird when you say it because you think a puzzle would have to be super accurate, but you're dealing with one image, and where you cut it doesn't matter as long as you have all the same cards. You know, like if I had a the way I'm printing these out, there's 9 cards on a sheet, and it would be 9 cards total. Like a regular card set would have like I don't know 60 something cards or whatever. This is just that's all it's going to have. Every single card in this set is included in a pack. So so I'm not making 60 cards, I'm making 9. Now, if I did make more and they were on different sheets and I cut it different, then the puzzle wouldn't line up. But when you're dealing with just one thing, then they should line up. Okay, this is going to be difficult. It is so close here. Let's see. Not too bad. That it'll do. Like I said, if you look at any of the actual original Star Wars cards or any trading cards, a lot of them are they're off a little bit, you know, because of the nature of the printing process. So that to me, it kind of gives it its charm. It's nice when they all line up perfectly, but that's not always so realistic. Um, have any more? Oh my. Yeah, last Friday of 2023. Wow. Okay, we got one more to cut out. This one seems like it lines up a little better than the last one. So that last one was kind of a pain, but this one should go a little quicker. And I think I may want to change my. So I got these on Amazon. I think I bought them a while ago, but there's a whole bunch of them in here. And sometimes for what I pay for this pack, they're not like official exactly brand blades, but they're good. And if you look at like both actual blades, you're probably better off especially if you get lighting projects. Obviously super sharp. I mean, it's awful. Um, but like sometimes you buy like a little pack of Exacto blades, like from the office supply store, and they cost as much as this big thing here. So this one's still pretty sharp. I just like it to be really sharp. So I go through quite a bit of them. All right. So let's cut out one more set, and then we'll start assembling some packs. We'll do the gum and we'll do some wax packs, and that can be kind of the fun part because I know this is kind of hopefully this is somewhat informative, but on the same point, it's I'm kind of doing some repetitive stuff too. But if you want to do this, that's what you gotta kind of deal with, some repetition. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like I said, if I could get stuff like this professionally printed, um, yeah, I think it would be fun just to put out, just make a bunch of different cards of different weird movies or things. I was even thinking, I don't know if anyone would care about this, but I was thinking, and this is kind of blending the old with the new. I just felt the tip of this knife right now, but it's still pretty sharp. It's just very delicate. Um, but these classic wax packs, but combine them with something a little modern. I was thinking it might be fun just to take like internet memes and making a set of cards based on like popular internet memes. I don't know if anyone's done that, but that would be kind of fun to do. I wonder if anyone would be interested because it's kind of a cross audience. I mean, most people that are into a lot of internet memes are probably going to be a little younger, while the people that remember these wax packs are a little older. So I don't know. I don't know if there'd be a market for that or not, but it seemed like I don't know. It just seemed like a fun idea to do. But stuff like that, I'd like to do. Cards based on all kinds of weird stuff and just see what people are into. But if I could figure out a way to, and there's people that there's no one really else doing these wax packs. There's a company that say they do them, but they don't. They just don't look super authentic. Like I feel like the way I do them are. But right now, I don't know a way to not mass produce, but produce them in larger quantities. So if I can kind of figure out more of a streamlined technique. Like if I could get my Cricut machine, and the other thing about the Cricut machine, those things cut very slow. But if I could get it to line up where it could cut these out for me, and I don't have to do this, that could be one way to do it. If there was some kind of like, if I could make some kind of press that has like blades on it that would just cut through it. I don't know. I don't know what's involved in doing something like that. I don't know. There's got to be some other way to like cut this stuff out or whatever. Um, but because there are a lot of people that want stuff like this, who knows? Maybe I could do a little. If I could figure out the way to streamline the process and make it make sense, then maybe I could do custom cards and things for people. That would be fun. Like I don't have any here. Actually, as a Christmas gift for me and my girlfriend, I made a set of wax packs with just pictures of us, and that was kind of fun. So people might want that too. But that do a one-off like thing like that, I don't know if that's something I could make it make sense unless I could somehow automate it, like put it in a template and have them print them out and cut them out, and I don't know, something to think about if there's a demand for something like that. I don't know because there's a lot of people that like that kind of stuff. There's companies out there that'll print your family picture on like a blanket or anything, or those ones where they'll take you and make you like a king or a queen, like a portrait style. So and I guess with AI, there's a lot of that stuff. I don't think there's any way to do this kind of thing with AI necessarily to speed up the process, but and the whole idea of what I'm doing here on YouTube, this project-based stuff, is because of a lot of it's because of AI. Because I think with AI becoming, oh, he wants to know the name of my girlfriend. It's Jennifer, Jen. But so anyway, the whole idea of kind of what I'm doing here is I think people are going to be more interested in like seeing people do projects and doing projects themselves, because if you just see something that's already made, it's like people might be like, "Well, is that AI?" And I feel bad because a lot of times now when I see concept art, because that's the first area that AI is kind of going after or that it's concentrating on. When I see really cool painted like stuff, I sometimes I wonder, that done by AI. And it's kind of sad because that's some of the work that takes the most amount of time to do. Once you start getting a little more simplified, it's a little hard to it's weird, but the simpler it is, it seems like it's hard for AI to handle because there's less room to make mistakes and things. Like you can watch you can see a painting done with AI, and you look at it and it's like, wow, that's really cool. And then you look a little closer, and then you look at the hands, and it's like it's a jumbled mess, like that they're holding something, or they've got six fingers or something like that. And you don't necessarily see that right off the bat. But if it's a simple drawing like a cartoon, you would notice that right away. So I don't know. We'll see where everything goes, but that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of doing these projects, because I think people are going to want to see the process moving forward, just to see that it's done. It is created by a human or whatever. So all right, let's see. Yeah, Edie says I think commercial artists and illustrators have the most fear from AI. Yeah, I mean it's I mean, I think it's in some ways it's inevitable. My biggest thing is the copyright, the is because like the music industry has always had um they've had a little bit of representation. Like if you use somebody's song or something like that, you usually have to pay a fee for that, and there's ways to figure that out. And like AI can be helpful with that because it can search and find when people are using your music or whatever. So but with visual artists, we really haven't had that kind of representation, like you know, like any kind of a union or anything like that, or any kind of there's graphic artist guild, but it doesn't really affect artists in that way, visual artists. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe they'll pass some laws where, if AI is using some of your things, you'll get credited. I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen moving forward? But I mean, and there are things that I can see myself using AI, and I think a lot of times I remember back when the movie Tron came out, which was the first had the kind of computerized CGI special effects, and it wasn't eligible for any Academy Awards or anything for special effects because it was done on the computer. Well, now look, every special effect you see practically is done, you know, CGI. So it's kind of a weird thing. So who knows where it's going? I mean, I can see like, and I in some ways I have been using AI because like if you're in Photoshop and then you have like an area that you need to extend a background, you can have it fill that in, or there's the content aware filter thing that you can add. So there are little things already that use that, and there's going to be more of that. So who knows where it's going to go? But yeah, I don't have a set opinion. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. I'm not going to say that I won't ever use it because I think there's a lot of other applications where it will streamline the process, especially for like entrepreneurs and people who are trying to make their own stuff. There's like I was thinking like because I'm not like I, I'm not like in like a painterly illustrator. So I was thinking it'd be fun to do those records, the old school books and records. Like if you remember, they would have these little records in a storybook, and it says, "Read along with me in your book. You'll know it's time to turn the page when you hear the chime," and we'll have a little chime or whatever. Those kind of like power records and things like that. But I thought it'd be fun to just to do actually a recording of a story, and then do like put together a book for that. You know, maybe it would make sense to see if AI can generate a look of a story for that in that style because I don't have time like for a video like this to illustrate an entire like storybook, but it'd be cool just to show what that process looks like. So if you did want to do that yourself and illustrate every page and things like that, that you could do that. But those were typically more like a painterly look in those stories. So I don't know. I mean, that could be something where I might use it just as a project, but the bulk of that project would still be me creating, wherever it's recording the record, putting it all together, printing it, and all that stuff. So there's still a lot of creation there. So in some ways, I think it can aid in process and things like that. But anyway, while let's get to creating some more wax packs. But while we do that, I'm going to switch cameras. This one overhead camera I need to change the battery to. I need to buy real quick. So let me switch that out real quick, and then we'll get to putting together some of these wax packs. Oh, I didn't see, Edie, I didn't see that question. Are wax packs sellable today, please, or are collectors only? Um, I don't know as far as the first part. No, I mean you can't buy. They don't do them this style anymore. It's all everything's foil or plastic now. Um, and in some ways, it's a weird thing because the charm of some of these old things is kind of the way it's printed a little. Like even if you look at, I'll hold this up. I don't know if you can see how it's the printing's off a little bit. This little green shining through. That's that's by design. I did that on purpose, but it's meant to look like the old cards where everything doesn't line up. And so, you know, in actuality, the printing is way better today. And I mean, everything's going to look perfect, but it's those imperfections that I think gives these things their charm. Um, so, so I don't think the companies aren't going to go back to this because it's kind of an inferior way to do it. But it's still, again, it has a lot of charm, and a lot of people remember that fondly. So I don't think anyone, unless they're trying to do what I'm doing and specifically try to do retro style stuff, I don't I don't see them going back to that. So like with Pokemon cards, it's gonna be foil, stuff like that. It's all gonna be foil, which is a different process. And I might, the way and they kind of crimp them on the side, they don't fold them. It's all like a machine will crimp it. And there are little tools you can use to crimp stuff. So there may be a point where I do something a little more in that style. I don't know, like something that where they did that that's a little more retro that I might do at some point, or like the Panini stickers. They had these company called Panini, and they're still around, but and I think they're like one of the biggest actual sticker trading card companies around. I think they're bigger in like probably Europe or something. But they had little stickers and they had paper packs, but they were crimped. So I might get one of those crimping tools and maybe make one of those, because the way those worked is they have a book and you would take the stickers off and you place them in the book next to this place where they go almost like a puzzle. So that might be a fun project to do too. All right, let's get into this here. So let's see. I think some of these I already have wax. This one has wax on it. This one doesn't. This one doesn't. I got more. So the way I print these out is um, because the tracing paper is super thin. What I'll do is you can either get like there's a couple different ways. The easiest way is to get like a glue stick and run it across the edges. You have to do it pretty quick before it dries. Of a 8.5 by 11 sheet of copy paper, and stick this on here. So the edges are glued down, and the inside isn't. That way, it's thick enough to run through a printer or a copy machine or something like that. And then you can go and just cut them out. And I put two on a page, just because, like I said, this is 50 cents, so that would cut that down to about 25 cents a label. Which any way you can be more economical is the way to go. All right. So once you have those cut out, then you want to get like you can use a candle, like a white, like non-scented candle, or if for some reason you want them to be scented, if you like, I guess, oh, that gives me an idea. Like if you were to make like strawberry shortcake, like cards, not the dessert, but the little characters, it might be fun to get like a strawberry scented candle and do that so it smells like strawberry. Yeah, I don't know. That's just something to think about. But if there's some reason to have like like actually if there was a really nasty smelling candle, I could have used that for these gross stickers. I don't know what's the nasty can. There probably somebody makes some kind of nasty flavored candle. I'm sure, just as a joke. I mean, and they've got like bacon flavored candles. So, I mean, there may be a reason why you'd want a scented candle, but otherwise, get like a non-scented candle, or this is just a block of paraffin wax that people use to make candles or whatever. And then you can kind of see by the angle here. That's where I've been pressing down on it. But you just go like this and just rub it over your thing, and make sure you're pressing down, and you don't, because this thing will, if you're going too quick, it'll crinkle this stuff up. So you got to be a little careful. But and then you're going to want to do front and back, and I usually go, I usually go vertical, and definitely you want to make sure you get on the edge. That's where the steel's going to be, and what you're doing when you're sealing it is you're melting this wax and it's sticking to itself. So I'm just going to go along here and add a decent amount of coating on both the back and the front. And every time I do this, I'm just really surprised at how simple a technique this is for the most part. Because I thought, oh, to add wax to it? What do you got to melt the wax and then dip them in or anything? But no, you just kind of rub this on there, and that's what I can't figure out why. Maybe people other haven't figured this out, but there are companies that make wax pack, what they call wax pack, and they look like them, but if you feel them, they don't have the wax feel to them, because I don't think they have that process anymore. But if you wanted to do some of these by hand, and maybe that's why, maybe the only way is to do it by hand, and that doesn't make a lot of sense if you're doing like mass producing them or something. But it's kind of a simple thing that anyone could do themselves. So it's kind of a wonder you don't kind of see more people doing these that are selling what they're calling wax packs. Creed's like, I'll use a Wookiee scented candle. Yeah. What is that? What would that be, like a, I don't know, Julie or some weird thing? I don't know what a Wookiee smells like. All right. Oh, Creed says sticker books rule. I've got the ET ones and wacky. Oh yeah. Wait. Now, when you say you had the ET ones and wacky packs, did they make wacky packages, sticker packs? Like, it's always good to show an example of what I'm talking about. I just kind of crinkled that, but you might be able to press it out. And again, some of those little imperfections add the charm to it. Again, make sure you're getting the edges. And so yeah, there will be. I'll put a few more of these on my website. The ones that I put up there are, I think, originally sold out, but I added a few more. So as I create these, but I mean, you can see the amount of work that goes into them. So, and you're always, you don't want to drop whatever the $13 on a pack or whatever I think I'm selling it for plus shipping. You can try to make this stuff yourself. I mean, on my Patreon, like the higher tier, I think the $10 a month Patreon tier, I basically put up all these files, and then the lower tiers I put up some templates you can kind of design your own, and then even my newsletter, which doesn't cost a thing, I'll put up some templates that you can use. So there's just a bunch of ways that you can kind of get involved if you want to do this stuff yourself. All right, cool. All right, so now we got 4 wax packages done for our various card packs. And the closest thing I've been able to find to the bubble gum that they used is this bubble tape. I mean, it looks pretty much like what you would get. I think some of the bubble gum, I've seen some that are about this size, some of them are a little thicker, but that's about as close as we're going to get. So we're going to cut a few links of this off. I thought I had papers here. Okay. And they also have, I've seen like blue. That's another thing you could do, sort of a, you had a reason to have like blue bubble gum. I think they make blueberry flavored bubble tape too. All right, next I need to take this thing here, this tool, and so you can buy these. You can buy these. They're like wood cutting tools. This particular tip I got from a company called, I think it's, I forgot what it's called, but they're the ones, one of the companies that make wax packs, but they're not really wax packs. But they were selling these little tips. I think it was wax. I think if you just search custom wax packs online, they'll come from the company. But I bought this little flat tip for it. The other thing you can use is just a curling iron and just use that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this thing in, you know, a minute or so to heat up, and I'll just wait. I can tell how it's hot by the method flat, so you don't want to touch the computer out. But while that's warming up, let me let me change my camera view. See there. All right, I can see that. Move this here. Move back. I'm gonna move it up so it's front and center. We'll get our wax pack ready. So we're gonna place it face down, and then we're gonna get. Let's see. Let me make sure these are right. I guess I should put them in the correct order. Should I put them in the correct order or just have it random? Yeah, maybe it's better if it's just random. Okay. So right there, I've got my Luke Skywalker sticker. I'm going to flip this over again, so you're seeing just the white, so it's not going to show through the semi-transparent pack here. And then because because you can kind of see through it, you can kind of figure out where to line it up. And I've got this bar of type right down here, and I'm using that as sort of my indicator to show me where to line it up. Make sure it's kind of as accurate as possible. It's lined up. Now let's see if it's speeded up enough. A little. Yeah, it should be pretty good. All right. So here's the folding. Here's what you have to do for the folding. So we start with the top and the bottom first. I'm going to press down on these. And I've seen people, like, if they have an edge, they'll kind of push it up to the edge of something, kind of get it, it'll straighten out the cards and everything. I don't really have that set up right here. So I'm going to press down, and then sort of at an angle, see, like that. You're going to press these, and then you can put down in a little bit if you want to. So we're going to pull this up, this one up too, press down, put that at an angle. And then you continue to kind of press down while you do this to hold everything in place. Press down in the angle. And then, because even though there's a UPC code right here, it doesn't actually work. But if you were to actually do if this is a real legitimate thing that would be sold in the supermarket, the UPC would have to be on the outside. So I'm holding this little advertisement part in. Again, just press it down, and then you pull it pretty tight. As tight as you want, as tight as you can, I mean. Press it down, and then I'm going to hold it here without burning myself. I'm going to run this over where the wax is, get it so it's a little wet, and the wax is a little bit, and then I'm going to press down, and that should seal the wax together. And there you go, and it feels like the exact thing you would get. All right, now it's starting to smoke. Okay, let's do another one. And I actually like this little crease here. It makes it look, like something that would come out of a mass-produced thing here. All right, let me grab another set here. Oh wait, this come up. Wait. Oh, I think these are the ones that I was using as a demo that were bad. But I think, I mean, now I got to make sure I got the set here. So 2, 3, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So here are all the cards. Make sure these are good. And like I said, maybe I'll mix them up a little bit. All right. And we're going to Luke Skywalker. Put our gum here. Oh, we got Josh in the house, and we've got Frank. How you guys doing? Waxy goodness, Frank says. It's a wax backpack here. I wish, Josh. That's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to figure if I can streamline the process enough to make like a little maybe cottage business out of stuff like this. I don't know. I'll have to think about that for. Maybe we can talk about that on the next. If there's a demand for it, you know. But I could see, especially, I think I could see making a variety of these different wax packs. If I could get it down to where it makes sense economically. Put some of these on Etsy because people are searching for wax pack. I mean, I bought a bunch of wax packs off of Etsy, like vintage ones, and I think if you're searching for those and you come across something no one's ever seen, I think people are going to be, and I'd be sure to make people know that they're bootlegs, that they're not official. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I was just thinking, what are some weird things that I could make wax packs of? Just I like doing odd stuff that no one would ever do. You know, like I said, there was that meme idea. There's got to be some other real weird things that people like. I mean, it could even be cats. Uh, cat wax packs or something ridiculous. Like, something weird. You know, I don't know. I guess you could look at what's popular on TikTok. Oh wait, what am I doing? I already did all. Okay, here I'm talking and not paying attention. So I'm pressing this stuff down. Again, you do the top and bottom first. You fold kind of in an angle, and then we're gonna bring this left side over first. That's the side that doesn't have the UPC code on it, and then press it together. Oh, Gary's in the house too. Hey, Gary, making some wax packs. All right, I'm gonna seal this and get so the wax is melted, and then once it's melted, then I'm gonna press down and make sure the seal. And as you do this, it will affect some of the pipe and stuff on here, which kind of adds to the effect. Because if you've ever opened the wax packs, they're like, sometimes they'll be stuck to the cards and stuff. Like I said, this is sort of an inferior process. That's why they don't use it anymore. But that's what gives it its charm, and that's what other people are big. I guarantee you, I think if I just made regular, like modern looking cards, would be you put them on my website. I don't think people cares much. All right, I think we're gonna do maybe one more before we wrap it up. Let me find. See the trees. Okay. I'm gonna mix them up a little bit. So you can roll them in. All right, and then another stick of gum. Face down. Make sure they're all lined up good. Line it up with my little image on the front of the wax pack. Oh, that's not a good angle. That'd be better. All right, so I'm going to fold down. And like I said, if you did order some of these that are on my website, I'll be shipping them out today, so you should get them soon. Um, and then I should have more available, and I'll you know I'm going to make it more than just what I'm making here too. But I don't, since it's so repetitive, I'm not going to show the cost of me making all of them. All right, so we're going to seal that, seal the edges here, get down, and then together, and then press. We have that wax seal. And again, if you don't have a tool like this, you can use a curling iron, or there's a number of you could use a regular iron too, although that's a little bulkier. I think a curling iron would be probably the most ideal way to do it. But then you can just run it across, you know. I think that's probably the best way. I might even prepare than this. All right. All right. So here we go. We've got 3 custom bootleg Star Wars holiday special trading cards. I'm going to put a few more of these up on my website. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, you can pick up a pack of those. Who knows if I will make more after they sell out? I don't know. It's kind of just, you know, again, it's not like a big money earner for me, but I just, people tend to like them and want them, so I just want to make them available for anyone that's super enthusiastic about getting hold of these. So, all right. Let me switch over here. So, thanks for tuning in. And thanks for anytime I do these projects or whatever. I want everyone to have a happy new year. Hopefully, everyone had an amazing holiday so far. And yeah, let's do big things in 2024. I'm looking to make it a much better year than this past year. Because if you watch, we kind of had our year end wrap up on the Artcasters. Oh, by the way, I'm also thinking about having Artcasters. For a while, it hasn't been on my channel, so I'm thinking maybe just why not just put it back on my channel when it's time for me to host too. So I assume if you're watching this, you're probably subscribed. If you're interested in Artcasters and if you follow all that, you're probably already subscribed to this channel. But maybe the like 400th episode I'll put on my channel. We'll see, you know. But it was kind of an experiment to see what would happen with the algorithm if all I was doing on this channel was just like these maker projects. And right now, I'm just gonna experiment with a few things. I still want to continue doing these kind of projects because I'm having a lot of fun with them. But who knows? I'm trying to figure out some other ways we can do different formats or whatever that we can still do projects like this and talk about vintage products and collectibles and create stuff like this. But maybe because I'd like to put out more videos other than the ones I do the live streams, which are easy to do because other than I've got different camera setups and things like that. But other than that, they're fairly easy to do. But the videos are fully edited. They take a lot of time, so I'll probably still put maybe one of those videos out a month. But I also want to put out some other stuff too. I'm not exactly sure what to do as far as how to do that. So something that's a little simpler, so I can have more content out there. But yeah, I'm still having a blast doing these projects and things like that. Um, and judging by comments and stuff I get, a lot of people dig that stuff too. So stick around, more stuff to come. Thank you to everyone in the chat. We got a lot of familiar faces coming. Oh, I didn't see Thomas is in there. Hey, Thomas. Um, Reed showed up. Yeah, that's awesome. So anyway, uh, I'm getting ready to do my own New Year's preparations and things like that. I'm sure you guys are too. So thanks for hanging out with me, and thanks for watching this live, or if you're watching this after the fact. Hope you enjoyed it. And there's a bunch more. If you go through, it's kind of hidden the way YouTube has it, but all the live stuff is under its own tab. So if you want to watch the live streams, you have to click on live, and then you see all the live streams. They don't show up on the regular feed unless I put them there, which I think I can do that too. I think I actually, I've got to remember to put some of these on the homepage. But typically, they're separated. YouTube separates the regular videos and the live videos and the shorts, and which is kind of cool. I kind of like that. But sometimes people don't know where to look if they're going directly to my channel. So anyway, everyone have a happy new year, and we will see you, I guess, in 2024. And let's make it an awesome one. I'll see you guys later. That is all.